Like damn, she wanna afford to touch me. I say I want it, and she got it.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. Let's dive into TNA Impact from July the 11th, 2024. We are 1 week away until Slammiversary. The show was pretty okay, and we have most of the card flushed out and finalized. TNA might add maybe one or two more matches, not sure, but it could always happen. So we kicked the show off with what happened last week, where they were in the parking garage, that being Frankie Kazarian. So basically, Nic Nemeth was the one who filmed Frankie Kazarian, and he knows that Frankie is the one who jumped Nic Nemeth. So Nic Nemeth then returns the favor by beating the shit out of Frankie Kazarian, and he was pulled off by security, and then that allowed for Frankie Kazarian to flee. So this is fine, it makes sense. Cool, I guess. Moving on, so this leads us into our first match of the night. Jordynne Grace defeats Izzy Dame from NXT. Before the match took place, George Iceman, the personal concierge, he said that Ash by Elegance is going to be watching the match via satellite while she's on vacation. So that's cool. So Jordynne Grace wins via the Juggernaut Driver. This makes perfect sense. I like the NXT TNA crossover. I know some people don't like it, but it's actually quite successful, with Charlie Dempsey being on there, Izzy Dame, same thing. And I think that it's really good that they're doing the partnership. I do like that. Since TNA and NXT are similar, they're small promotions, and they kind of do the same tour on the road. Like they only tour on the road maybe 5 to 6 times out of the year. So I think that's why it's good. I'm pretty sure we might get some more crossover, but for now, TNA getting Charlie Dempsey and Izzy Dame, to me, that works out fine. So I'm interested in seeing how this goes and how long this will last. But we all know that Jordynne Grace is going to go to WWE whenever her contract is up next year. Same thing with Joe Hendry, so it's fine. Moving on. So Santino Marella, he announces a wild card tag team match, which involves Josh Alexander and Joe Hendry teaming up to face Steve Maclin and Moose. Who gives a damn? Moving on, so Charlie Dempsey defeated Zachary Wentz. So this is fine. And then post-match, Miles Bourne from No Quarter Catch Crew, he came out and beat the shit out of Zachary Wentz. So I'm guessing this could lead to maybe a 6-man tag, which could be the Rascalz taking on No Quarter Catch Crew, which would be Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Tavion Heights, since Drew Gulak and Damon Kemp have been released. And speaking of Damon Kemp being released, if he still wants to be in the wrestling business, I could see him going into TNA if he wants to continue to wrestle. I could see him going into TNA, so yeah, there's that. Moving right along, I wanted to burn my television because the system was on there. So there was a video that showed the system taunting Matt and Jeff Hardy's return next week on Impact, while Moose, he praises Johnny Dango Curtis, JDC, for pulling his weight. He must also take a shot at Josh Alexander and Joe Hendry. So that's fine. It makes sense. Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne, they taunt and make fun of the Rascalz, claiming that the No Quarter Catch crew is the most dominant faction in wrestling. They emphasize that Dempsey did not show up alone as Taven Heights enters the frame. However, Santino Marella also appears, announcing that the No Quarter Catch crew will face the Rascalz in a 6-man tag. That is going to be fucking awesome. This is going to kick ass. This is great. Makes perfect sense. This is excellent. Really, really good stuff. Excellent shit. I love this. Love it. Love it. Wesley is having a homecoming next week. That's great. Excellent stuff. This is great. This kicks ass. I love this. Moving on. So, Speedball Mike Bailey, he's now the new number 1 contender to face Mustafa Ali for the X Division Championship at Slammiversary. He defeated Jonathan Gresham and Kushida in a triple threat match, so it makes sense. Post-match, Mustafa Ali's security, they beat the shit out of Trent 7 and Mike Bailey, so all the guards are holding down Mike Bailey. And Champagne Singh, he brings a steel chair into the ring, and then Ali smashes Trent Seven's leg with the chair, and then he locks in a sharpshooter, and Bailey has to watch on while he's being held down by the Secret Service. So that was cool. I do like that. Pretty good shit there. Makes sense. I'm loving the work that Mustafa Ali is doing. Excellent stuff. But we all know that Mike Bailey is going to walk away as X Division champion next week come Slammiversary. So there's that. Moving on. So we get a vignette of Step the Lander. She's sitting on a beach and speaks to PCO about their relationship. She tells PCO that she needs to go back to Australia to tie up some loose ends. And basically, she wants to know, will he wait for her? Who gives a shit? Fuck this shit. This pisses me off. Like, there's a better way that TNA could be using Step the Lander. I have no idea why they have her in this fucking useless love angle involving PCO. PCO, along with Frankie Kazarian, Eddie Edwards, Moose, Brian Myers, and so many others, those guys need to be moved out the way, and those guys need to be either coaches or backstage producers. Enough of pushing these guys. Stop with this shit. It's annoying. Stop. Moving on. So AJ Francis, he defeats Rhino in a Philly street fight to retain the Digital Media Championship. So basically, they had a match, and Rich Swann got involved. Then Santino came out. He made the match into a Philadelphia street fight. And then out of nowhere, AJ Francis hit a low blow on Rhino, and then he rolled him up for the 1, 2, 3, which was funny. So it is what it is. Excuse me. And then post-match, Rich Swann and... No, my bad. First Class, they beat down Rhino. Only for PCO to return. And he beat the shit out of my bad, not Top Dollar, but First Class. I don't know why I keep saying Top Dollar. But he beat the shit out of First Class. And he held up both championships high in the air. So, who cares? I don't give a fuck about this shit. This was whack. A waste of fucking time. A waste of time. Moving on. Giselle Shaw defeats Tasha Steelz This was pointless. I have no idea why TNA continues to push Giselle Shaw. It doesn't make any sense. I'm tired of TNA trying to push the stars of TNA's past, meaning Scott D'Amore's boys and girls. I have no idea why they continue to push them. I don't know why they're pushing or trying to push Josh Alexander and other people that benefited from Scott D'Amore. I don't get it. They need to go ahead and axe all that stuff. I'm not trying to be mean, but Scott D'Amore, there's a reason why he got fired. There's a reason why. And I think TNA needs to move on from trying to push talents that came from under him. So, moving on. So, Gia Miller had a backstage interview with Zaya Brookside about her intentions to come after Alicia Edwards and mentions her recent conversation with Steph DeLander about PCO. Who gives a shit? Fuck this. Moving on. Johnny Dango Curtis defeated Chris Bay from ABC. Okay, it is what it is. Eddie Edwards came down and got involved and everything else. And post-match, the system, they beat the shit out of ABC. Moving on. The Hardys, they're going to return next week on Impact. That's going to be great. I like that. I'm trying to see what they're going to do at Slammiversary. Hopefully they get some involvement on the show, at least. Moving on, main event of the evening. Steve Maclin and Moose, they defeat the team of Joe Hendry and Josh Alexander. Joe Hendry takes 10 steps forward and he's immediately forced to take 15 steps back. The guy can't catch a break, and it's not good. It's not good. So that was the show. It was okay. Like I said before, it could have been better. I am excited for Slammiversary. It's interesting to see what surprises TNA is going to have and who's going to show up. I'm hoping Jinder Mahal shows up. I'm hoping that we see some other people that were released from WWE earlier. Hopefully we do see like a Mandy Rose, because she's been gone for a while. She's been gone from NXT for well over a year or close to a year. Lacey Evans, she's been gone for about 6 to 7 months. Hopefully we see Xia Li show up as well. It's just time for TNA to make a massive change, because it needs to happen. And usually, like I said before, usually Slammiversary is usually when TNA gets their act together, and it's usually when it's a very beneficial show for the company. It's basically their version of SummerSlam, and they don't have a full fleshed out card, but for the most part, I think you got a good 5 matches already, figured out. So we'll see how the go home show goes for next week, but I personally think that there should be no more than 6 matches, and maybe have a match or 2 on the pre-show, and that's it. And then the rest should be just, surprises, because I'm not really interested in anything except for the 6-man elimination for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, which Joe Hendry should win that hands down. And I'm also excited for Mustafa Ali, because he's told a pretty decent story with Mike Bailey. Even though I'm not a fan of Mike Bailey, it's still a decent story nonetheless. So I do like that. But we'll see how it all plays out. But what did you guys think of Impact? My bad. What did you guys think of TNA Impact? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.